Alright, what is going on, everybody? I bet you guys were not expecting to see me here today, but we are going to do a little bit of coverage here for Hurricane Hone. This is a pretty big deal here for the people of Hawaii, right? So, for the most part, it's actually past Hawaii at this point, but we are still seeing some of the outer bands bringing some damaging winds here to the big island of Hawaii. Alright, we do have reports of trees down, large trees down. We are talking about roads being completely covered in trees and power lines and stuff like that. And again, we are seeing some significant impacts with the flooding rains as well, right? Tropical storm warnings remain in effect here for the Big Island for quite a while. We are talking about for the next couple hours here, the potential for some more damaging wind gusts up to maybe 60 miles an hour to make their way towards the Big Island here. But it looks like for the most part at this point, the worst of the damaging winds should stay off to the south and the west of Hawaii, and Hurricane Hone is going to continue to travel westward for quite a while here. But eventually we are expecting this thing to die out pretty quickly as it makes its way towards kind of the western portion of the North Pacific Ocean. So not only do we have Hurricane Hone going, but we also have Major Hurricane Gilma. Now, I'm sure that we have a lot of people wondering what Gilma's going to do. And as of right now, it's not looking like any significant impacts to Hawaii are likely. But if Hurricane Gilma does last a little bit longer with that intensity than we think that it will, we could have ourselves a very real problem on our hands. All right, now again, we already are seeing power outages and trees down here due to Hurricane Hone. If we go ahead and turn off the tropical storm warnings here, we can see that we currently do have about 15% of Hawaii County without power. That's about 13,000 customers. All right, that's a pretty big deal. We have got ourselves some significant damage, again, mainly in the form of trees and power lines being down. And while we haven't seen any tornadoes or even any tornado warnings yet, I do not believe with Hurricane Hone here, honestly, over the next couple of hours, I wouldn't entirely rule one out. We are seeing brief pockets of rotations pop up here in this system, so we're going to have to continue to watch it for sure. We definitely cannot rule out anything in terms of a just a low-end tornadic threat, right? So we'll continue to watch that as it progresses. Also, in this stream, we are going to be breaking down the severe weather threat in the United States over the next few days. We are going to have a live stream out later this evening covering some severe weather across portions of the upper Midwest here. I do think that damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes are all a possibility today, especially across portions of South Dakota. But tomorrow, things look even more extreme for South Dakota as we have an enhanced risk of severe weather going out for almost 5 million people. This goes all the way from Minneapolis, St. Paul, back down towards the South Dakota-Nebraska state line there, and we're definitely going to have the potential to see damaging winds up to 80 miles an hour, hail up to baseball size or larger, and also a couple of tornadoes, maybe an isolated strong one, cannot be ruled out, especially across portions of eastern South Dakota. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up stream chat. If anybody has any questions about their location, feel free to leave those down below. Hopefully we have a lot of people tuning in from Hawaii if they still do have power. But again, for the most part, we do, I guess not for the most part, but we are seeing some power outages here, again, on the big island of Hawaii, right? So let me go ahead and get stream chat up here. Again, I bet you guys were not expecting to see me here this early this morning, but here we are. Just give me just a minute. Alrighty. Good to see that we've got a bunch of folks already tuning in. Come on. If the chat would like to load, that'd be nice. No, it was not because of your comment. I only just now saw your comment, actually. No, but I do think that if the forecast details change, right, and if there is a little bit more SRH in some spots than we were expecting, which is the case a lot of time with these summertime's upper Midwestern events, then I do think that we could see a strong tornado. But again, that's kind of a conditional threat at this point. If we look at the NAM at the surface base Cape, it is quite literally off the charts. If we this morning it's nothing crazy, right? But if we go even just into later today, but especially tomorrow, we're going to be dealing with areas that are saying Cape of, 4,000 joules per kilogram of high or higher, which is definitely enough Cape to get these storms firing off and to become strong to severe very quickly. But yeah, as you can see, as we go later into this afternoon even, I mean, these Cape values are just insane, all right? They are just insane. Mainly across portions of kind of Iowa and eastern Nebraska, actually, but we're not going to see any storms fire off down here, most likely. So, if any do, we'll have to watch for them to become strong to severe, because we do have 5,000 joules per kilogram of CAPE in portions of Iowa. But again, especially in the eastern portions of the Dakotas, we're going to have to watch out for some strong to severe storms later today. But look at tomorrow, guys. This is what we are so concerned about, right? We are going to have an absolutely insane severe weather outbreak tomorrow, especially across portions of South Dakota and Minnesota. We're talking about 6,000 to 7,000 joules per kilogram of surface-based CAPE, according to the NAM here in some spots and some isolated locations, which is insane, all right? That is, that just does not happen, all right, very often at all. It's going to be an extremely severe weather prime setup, and then we're going to see the same thing as we go into Tuesday as well in portions of the upper Midwest, although a little bit less intense, I will admit. We are still going to see some spots get close to, again, that, 6,000 to 6,500 joules per kilogram of CAPE mark there, so we'll watch out for all of that. And again, that's going to be the main thing that does fuel some of our severe thunderstorms today and tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, damaging winds of 80 miles an hour or higher are definitely likely. I don't know about 90 miles an hour, but I do think that we are going to have the potential to see multiple lines of storms, which will bring, again, just double the opportunity for those damaging winds to occur. But if we look here at the NAM, if we look at tomorrow, right, if we go over here to South Dakota, we can see that we are going to have some very serious lines of storms get going, it looks like. What's up, Gooseman? And again, that's definitely going to bring the potential for damaging winds up to 80 miles an hour, hail up to baseball size, and even a couple of tornadoes to portions of the upper western Midwest. So back down here to Hurricane Hone, again, it's kind of hard to cover hurricanes like live. There's not much to say other than, hey, it's windy, hey, it's raining. But what I can tell you is that the storm total precipitation values in portions of the Big Island right now are very, very high, especially in the eastern portion of the island, right? I mean, things are very, very glitched out down here. We've got some spots getting over 15 inches of rain, it looks like, in very localized locations, but definitely quite intense rainfall amounts out there right now on the Big Island. With the way 2024 is going, we had 98 from the July derecho in Chicago. I wouldn't doubt it at all. Yeah, but I do think that event was looking a little bit more impressive in the forecast trends than this one. Also, we had damaging winds up to 100 and like 105 to 110 with the Chicago derecho, so that was definitely quite an insane day, and I really doubt that we'll see anything like that. We had a moderate risk for that event. They upgraded it to moderate right before the event started at the last second there. I don't think we're going to see that this time around, considering we don't even have a hatch risk for damaging winds yet, which is a little surprising. I think we'll definitely get a hatch risk for damaging winds, but I don't know about a 45% damaging wind risk. You have some grandparents on the northeastern side of the Big Island. Yeah, so the northeastern side of the island should be fine for the most part. It will be very windy, I'll say that much. But I don't think that the rainfall totals will be anything crazy or anything by any means. And the radar beams are kind of glitched here, but if we look, we can see, I guess the radar beams don't really work for most of the northeastern portion of the Big Island, but the rain totals are not going to be nearly as intense up in that area as the southern part of the island there. Tomorrow and Tuesday looks pretty crazy for severe weather, yeah. Definitely, again, we were talking about that CAPE being extremely high. We're going to have wind shear, we're going to have some SRA. I mean, it's just going to be a very, very impressively primed severe weather setup tomorrow. I'm on the fence of saying that they might add a 10% hatch, or sorry, not a 10% hatch, but a 10% tour risk. I don't think they're going to, considering how small the 5% risk is, but if they were to add a 10% tour risk, it would be like in this area here, and like just a small section of eastern South Dakota probably. Maybe a little bit of Minnesota. Yeah, the enhanced risk tomorrow does have the Twin Cities back through the South Dakota-Nebraska state line there. Once again. By the way, we do have a slight risk today for portions of the Four Corner states. We haven't talked a lot about that, mainly just because it's going to be a damaging wind threat and pretty much nothing else to worry about. NATOcast has actually been saying for a while, for the past couple of days, that there's going to be a 2% risk in northeastern Utah. I don't understand where they're getting that from. That does not make a lot of sense. I think it's just because they don't do very well with these monsoonal moisture type events. Yeah, if we do get a 10% Taurus tomorrow, I definitely don't think it'll be hatched unless we see some major forecast updates between now and then. So let's go and zoom back in on Hurricane Hone here. In fact, why don't we just look at this satellite? No, I don't want to look at post-tropical cyclone Ernesto. Let's just look from Hawaii here. I guess we can't see it. It is just now loading in here. Sun's coming up. I didn't think about that. You were at church. What were you not expecting? The stream or the enhanced risk? Honestly, I was not thinking about doing a live stream at all. I just decided, I'm bored this morning, why not? I've got some time. And again, while we're here, we're going to also talk quite a bit about the details for tomorrow's event, and we have been quite a bit as well. We have a very small marginal risk going out for portions of Lake Erie here as well. I wouldn't be too worried about this, if I'm being honest with you. I think that we may see an isolated gust of wind pick up, and that would be the main threat there from Detroit back through Cleveland. Yeah, I definitely think tomorrow could go pretty big. Again, we do have that threat for damaging winds up to 80 miles an hour, hail up to maybe even like softball size. I wouldn't entirely rule it out. And also a couple of tornadoes, maybe an isolated, brief, strong tornado. Again, it's more of a conditional threat for the strong tornadoes, though. So. But again, we do have ourselves a tornado risk today as well. No, yeah, I definitely wouldn't. I don't think it's going to be a derecho by any means. I do think that we could see some isolated, intense, damaging winds, but I definitely don't think it'll be a derecho. Well, and it could be a couple of MCS events as well. Yeah, the way you phrased that was a little weird, Sam. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so it's kind of what we're talking about for today and tomorrow. Again, we went over those Cape values. They're going to be incredibly high. We've even got some storms right now, like firing in like northern Missouri. These are not going to be severe, though. We have some more intense storms near Wichita, though. Mainly just some little bands of thunder showers, though. And, again, we do have I guess I haven't mentioned this yet, but we do have a special weather statement north of Jacksonville for a little thunder shower here, producing some gusty winds. And landspouts, apparently. I don't know, when is the last time we saw an enhanced risk? It wasn't the Chicago derecho, was it? I feel like we've had one more recently than then, but I may be mistaken. It could be the Chicago derecho. So anyway, back to Hone here. Again, just continuing to pack on some more gusty winds and rain. I'm not seeing any sort of rotation right now, really, that we need to watch with any of these bands coming onto shore of the Big Island. We're going to be talking about the Atlantic tropics quite a bit soon, probably. I may even have an episode of Tropic Talks out today or tomorrow. May 6th. Oh. Bless me. May 6th was the last time we had a high risk. Decape levels reached to around 1,600. It's looking to be a pretty, again, severe weather primed environment for tomorrow. But yeah, again, we're going to be talking about the Atlantic tropics here pretty soon. See a lot of tropical moisture here, but eventually Whenever this run finishes, we're probably going to see looks of potential tropical storm. Yesterday got a special weather statement for a confirmed land spout. Yeah, different National Weather Service offices have different policies for land spouts. I think that they should just get tornado warnings, but yeah. Just, yeah. But no, if we look at the, 60, we can see that not the temperatures, come on now. We can see that it was showing a pretty intense tropical storm, maybe even a low-end Category 1 hurricane beelining for the Gulf of Mexico here. If it would like to load up, that would be very nice of it. Come on now, any day. Literally any day, there we go. But here, as we can see it developing quite rapidly there, and again, maybe becoming some sort of tropical system, making its way towards the Florida Panhandle, but we are forecasting over 200 hours out here, and the details will change. So take that all with a grain of salt. It may not even develop. Yeah, 2024 has definitely been a crazy year for severe weather. So far, it hasn't been a crazy hurricane year like we were expecting, but, dude, whenever Beryl happened, I really thought after Beryl that we were going to have, like, the most intense hurricane season of all time. Wondering what the fall tornado season will be like. Yeah, maybe, I think for the most part that the tornado season in the fall would be kind of, again, up here in the portions of the upper Midwest. I don't think it's going to be anything crazy, though, if I'm being honest. I was thinking about doing a fall forecast, but I don't know. I already did a winter forecast. I did a very early preliminary one. Literally all I talked about is La Nina and El Nino and why things are changing and how they're going to change. Yeah, definitely. But we do now have a strong thunderstorm, it looks like, impacting northwestern Carbon County, Wyoming, near Rawlins and Sinclair, capable of producing some gusty winds of 50 to 55 miles an hour. What's up, Tampa Air? Good to see you. Again, if you're just not tuning in, we are watching Hurricane Hone quite closely here, as we are seeing some significant impacts to the big island of Hawaii. We are seeing damaging winds, extremely flooding rains, and even some rotation sweeping onto shore to watch for the possibility of a brief tornado. I don't think that the Deep South will see their tornado season until the winter, though. And the Ohio Valley, I don't think it's going to be that active. The Ohio Valley really hasn't... I take that back. It has actually been pretty crazy this year. We had the high-end EF3 Torrey in western Kentucky. We had, what other crazy? We had the March 14th pair of EF3s in Indiana and Ohio. We've had multiple PDSs in Kentucky. It's been pretty crazy for some parts of the Ohio Valley. We've had several PDS tornadoes in southern Illinois. It actually has been pretty intense. It's very hot. Yeah, I imagine. Very sticky, probably, too. Speaking of the heat, it is brutal right now in the Midwest. For some folks, it is the hottest day that they're going to have all year. If we turn on the excessive heat warnings, excessive heat watches, and heat advisories, we can see that we have them just all over the place. We have them going all the way from Indiana back into Nebraska and from Texas to North Dakota. It's insane. And again, heat advisories along the U.S.-Canada border, that just does not happen. It is extremely hot right now in the Midwest. We have excessive heat warnings going into northern Wisconsin. That is not meant to happen. Kind of both, honestly. Yeah, Michigan's not the Ohio Valley. Last Tuesday at a high of 103. That's good. Sam. gotta go, but if y'all in... What? See ya. Alright, we are back. Your thing is weird? I watched that whole stream with that longest stream where we saw the Chicago tornadoes. Yeah, that was insane. You'll be active. Okay. By the way, apparently this storm now in Wyoming had a 60-mile-an-hour recorded wind gust 14 minutes ago. That, I don't know why they're not giving this a severe thunderstorm warning if that's really the case, but I'd watch out for this thing, honestly. Yeah, the Lubbock string was another long one. What are some of the other long Davis Does Weather streams? We had April 26th. The final stream I did that day was pretty long. It was like 2 hours. I don't know. Yeah, I did see that. As we can see, we had a lot of destructive winds in northeast Montana. I saw the destructive as it happened. I was just taking a break day yesterday, though. I want to conserve my energy for these really important days that we have coming up, especially tomorrow. Yeah, I know it depends those gusts are now, but if you think about it, that report came in, yeah, I mean, it was only 14 minutes ago. And they had to get it in a few minutes before Raider Omega had it pop up, so in reality, that was probably only like a 5-minute old recording. Oh, yeah, I do remember that. The barrel stream, that was wild. That was right after it hit Cat 5. It was late at night, so nobody else was live. We had so many viewers. It was hard to keep up, it really was. This is my most viewed stream by far. By far. Not seeing a moderate for tomorrow somehow in some way. If we do see a moderate last minute, it would be for wind, maybe wind or maybe hail. Yeah, I doubt it though. It just doesn't look like an organized enough event. I think even the enhanced risk, I was a little surprised by. I think it deserved an enhanced risk, but it's still a little surprising. I really doubt they'll issue a moderate. By the way, newest run of the ARRR is showing some intense supercells, it looks like, in South Dakota at around 7 o'clock, so expect a live stream around that time. Again, I already said that we'd go live later again this evening, but I'm still not exactly sure when it'll be. Just whenever these storms fire, you know? And it looks like Utah and Colorado and New Mexico and Arizona and Wyoming, that event should get going within the next couple of hours as well. Again, we already have a strong to severe storm in Wyoming. Oh, I remember that too. That was in Nebraska. I do remember that. Because at one point, that was my longest stream. That's what we were shooting for. And we did it. My longest stream to this date, though, was the Chicago derecho. Yeah, it's looking nasty tomorrow, but again, I don't know if it's necessarily going to be insanity, you know. Again, don't be scared, be prepared. I definitely don't think we'll see any upgrades to the forecast other than maybe an addition of a hatch risk for wind. I think that should already be in place, but for some reason they haven't done that, so we'll probably do that tomorrow. But again, if you're just now tuning in, we are watching Hurricane Hone impact the big island of Hawaii with flooding rains and damaging winds. If you have any questions about your location over the next few days for the severe weather threat or anything else, make sure to leave those down below in the chat. The Chicago stream, I could have gone for a few more hours, though, if I needed to. I mean, that was just insane. We had, like, 100 tornado warnings. Yeah. I would say there's like a 2% chance that we see a moderate risk tomorrow. I don't think it'll happen. Again, if it did happen, it would probably look something like this. For damaging winds, maybe. And again, that also seems to be where the tornado threat is the greatest if we do see any discrete supercells. Then going into Tuesday, again, we got that slight risk for parts of the Great Lakes region. That includes all of the Oven Mid of Michigan, the southern part of the UP, most of Wisconsin, a sliver of southeast Minnesota, a sliver of northeast Iowa, a slither of northern Illinois, a slither of northeast Indiana, a sliver of northern Ohio, a sliver of northwest Pennsylvania, and a sliver of western New York. I started saying slither at one point instead of sliver. I don't know why. We can see the wind field here with Hurricane Gilma. Major Hurricane Gilma is pretty small, actually. Just this little blob out here. No, you're good. And man, it has had the most interesting history. It really has. It started like a week ago. It was insane. It's gone from that, then it went tropical storm, then it went hurricane, then it went major hurricane. It went all the way back down to a category 1, and then like the next day or so it went all the way to a category 4, and now it's a cat 3. Oops, I screwed that up. Maybe, I don't know. It's gonna be a while if we do, because we've got a lot of severe weather to talk about. But yeah, maybe in a few days. You guys seem to like the last one I did, so. And I've just been busy with school and everything, so. Anyway. See you, Sam. So, I think that since we don't really have anything to talk about, could probably start to wrap things up here. Yeah, same. Oh, crap. Yeah, I have homework to do today. Well, I'll try to get that done this afternoon so that we can do a stream this evening, but, anyway. There we go, there's Vince Welty. So Vince Welty looks like he's going to be chasing today, or maybe he's just going for tomorrow. If he was going to go today, he'd really have to start booking it to the west. But there we go. Vince Welty right now in south central Wisconsin. Honestly, if he just stayed there, if he just chilled out, he could have just chased Tuesday. But I think, again, Monday looks more impressive. So I don't know why I said Monday like that, but I did. So anyway, again, I want to thank you all for tuning into this live stream. We'll have another live stream later this evening for severe weather coverage, and I will see you all